Today's episode of the Totally Rad Show is brought to you by The Ben Heck Show. Coming up, it is finally here. We review Diablo 3.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Totally Rad Show. We've got a great week. Today we are getting our hands at the diabolical Diablo 3.
Our clicking fingers are ready.
Broken actually.
Tomorrow we got a brand new segment for you. We've never done it before. We're very excited to debut it. It is our Eye on Kickstarter. Some cool Kickstarters, some totally rad ones in fact.
And then on Wednesday we talk about the much talked about HBO show, Girls.
Yes, Thursday we're black in action. It's Men in Black 3, which is awesome. And they're going back in time.
And then Friday we're wrapping it up with a very specific versus. We've never done this before either.
Genre
versus.
Yeah, very excited. Christina Smaldun sent in. Christine, not Christina. Christine Smaldun sent in great background.
It kind of looks like our tabard.
Yes.
If it was, we made our tabard our banner in
Correct.
Diablo 3. This might be what it looks like because that's pretty rad. I have
It is
to
pretty
say.
rad.
Dragons.
Well, let's see if the game is rad.
Oh, if you want to send in your background,
Fans at TotallyRadShow.com.
that's where you send it. It has been over a decade since a new Diablo game has been released, but we finally got one last week. Diablo 3, Blizzard's massive dungeon crawling, click fest, loot fest, smash stuff, kill demons, go to hell, get loots game has finally been released. Yes, it was a rocky release, to say the least. It's got a new DRM, gotta always be online in order to play it, and things did not go smoothly when it launched, but we're not gonna talk about that too much because it seems like that's all been cleared up. We're gonna talk about the game proper. The first question I wanna ask you guys is, did you play Diablo 2?
Yes.
No.
Okay, I played the living crap out of that game when it came out, so I was really excited about this game. I know we've all been excited about it coming out.
Oh, yeah.
Alex,
Yes.
tell me your impressions of Diablo 3 now that you have sunk some serious man hours into it.
Yeah, it's it's a solid game. It really, there's a lot of fun to be had in it.
Well, that sounds a little
Yeah.
even keel. It doesn't sound like you're enthusiastic.
Even Steven.
It's not the best game of all time. Didn't blow my mind. It's like
It doesn't have
I've
the
played this
You
game.
don't have. It doesn't have the crack.
It's got the crack, but it it don't stink.
Alex
no.
doesn't like crack.
No. I mean, it's like I feel like I'm playing, an awesome version of Torchlight or an awesome version of Diablo. I mean,
It's kind of the other way around, but yeah.
Well, yeah, but I'm playing another dungeon crawler game, which is awesome and fun. It is awesome and fun. Does it
met your
reinvent the wheel? It
expectations.
totally met my expectations. Yeah. I'm having a blast playing this game. It's super fun.
But it's not blowing your skirt up.
I don't want people to think that it's not an amazing game. It's a AAA title. It's gorgeous. The graphics are amazing. It's super fun. I want to go home and play it again. But, it's not Heavy Rain where I go, I have never seen anything like this in my life. Oh my God.
Yeah.
The games have evolved. You know what I mean? It's just a very good version of that type of game. I'm interested to see when I get farther along. I read something that I think changed my opinion of the game incorrectly because somebody had said, oh, well, the whole point is you play through the game till you're about level 30 when you're finished with the game, and then you just restart it on hard mode or on nightmare mode or whatever. And that kind of made me a little disappointed, but I don't think that's true now because you had said that there's like 5 acts in the whole game. So it's interesting. I mean, the story I can kind of take or leave. It's sort of like that's not what this game is for. Like it really is. I do like the fact that you are sort of upgrading your guys. Like you have the sort of like, with Torchlight, you kind of have that main town, and those people are always just do what they do. Whereas in this, there's kind of this little added element of like, oh, I can pay for them to get better at doing what they do.
Right.
But I also kind of feel like that's just an excuse for why I'm getting money in the game.
Yeah.
It's not really. It sort of seems very arbitrary. It's like, why not just have them do that as I get better? As I level, they level. I mean, that's all that's happening. It's just money.
Well, at a certain point, you also have to get pages of
For like recipes or something?
not recipes, but like to level up your jewel crafter or your anvil blacksmith.
Blacksmith, yeah.
Anvil guy.
And I thought that was
You
a
have to
really
get
cool.
pages of-
Yeah, and I thought that was a really cool added element because you're also sort of like leveling up the town that is your home base.
Yeah.
And being able to portal back and forth is like easy. I'm sort of sad. We played the beta. There's a couple things that they took out from the beta that I was like, why would you do that? You could get scrolls that would give you these little creatures that would just go around, and their job literally was totally vanity. I will pick up all your gold. And they took it out because they said people were starting to seem like they just thought it was a funny little thing that like you could do, and that when they were seeing the beta, everybody just constantly had one up because it made it so much easier to do the goal.
Yeah.
So they took it away, and I'm like, well, why
love
take it
it.
away?
Why do
We
we love
love
it?
it.
Yeah.
We love that. And also like the identification scrolls where you're like, okay, now there's just an item that you have to sort of focus on for a second. We talked about that before, where it's sort of like, oh, that doesn't, why have that in there? You know what I mean? But really fun, super addictive. I will say, of all the co-op, now, horrible launch, of the worst launch of a single player game in the history of everything. That said, now that it's up and running, the drop-in, drop-out co-op stuff in this is
So easy.
seamless
So easy.
and buttery. It makes
Yeah.
it so easy to just be like, and literally you'll just be playing and all of a sudden it's like, a friend has arrived and now the monsters are harder. And it's like, oh, hey, cool.
Just click on his banner, hop to him.
Let's do it.
How,
The only bummer-
Fable should have been.
That's how
Yeah,
almost any co-op should be.
But,
The only big bummer I have with that is when I'm playing with my friends, it doesn't matter what my character's name is.
Yeah. Well, no,
Wait,
you
what
do
do you
see
mean?
it in the word
really.
bubbles, but the fact that your upper left-hand corner list.
Well, no,
is
and
your
when you're
own
running
name.
around, the little name is your
Yeah.
real ID or whatever, it's your
Right.
Blizzard ID.
Yeah.
I took a lot of care in naming my guy,
Yeah.
and I want that to be the
That's
Like
moniker.
in an MMO.
Yeah, like mine says pants, and it was a very long time before we were just doing something, and he was like, pants. And I
Yeah,
was
because
like,
he's running
been
around
pants this whole time.
Yeah, you're.
Anyway. But it's a great game, great game.
Daniel,
Jeffrey,
your finger looks sore
my fingers are sore.
from clicking.
Yeah.
So you've enjoyed the clicking.
I love it. I've definitely fallen in love. I love that. I think I said this. I think I may have even said about Bastion, oddly enough. But I love that you can discuss an isometric, top-down, old-school style game with wow, look at these amazing graphics. Like I love that graphical innovation isn't just evident in first-person shooters, and I love playing or whatever. But it's a beautiful looking game. It's a beautiful looking game, and I wouldn't think this genre. The thing that would come to mind is look how beautiful it is, and I love that the levels are interactive. I mean, there's so much of this that I think the bar for me is MMOs because it's Blizzard and because it's similar aesthetic that like and you're clicking in your buttons, your UI looks very similar to MMO. So everything in this game, to its benefit, competes with MMOs in my head as opposed to any other RPG or whatever. So everything is like this glorious event that's better than an MMO. Even the combat system is actually, I thought I was going to be over the clicking. I thought the only joy of this game is when Sweet Sweet Loot pops out like a piñata, which is an amazing
Sweet.
joy of the game. But
It does feel like Vegas when you finish a
Oh
boss
my
and it's
God.
just streams of coins.
It's
And they don't just
wonderful.
throw a bag of like 1,000 coins, they show like 1,020 coins.
yeah,
So smart.
so glorious.
So smart.
But-
it even sounds like a slot machine paying off. And
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah,
ugh.
that little
yeah.
sound is so.
But there's big. Wait, what was I saying before I transition?
MMOs.
MMOs.
Clicking.
The combat system
Yeah,
is
combat.
actually really dynamic.
Yeah.
I actually feel like, as much fun as we had in Terra with its new, real, true combat, an MMO that had this kind of combat system would be wonderful. And maybe it's because it's so much shorter. But I love that every level I get massive amounts of things, and it's not just one next thing, and it's not. There's no skill that it's not just like this skill better. It's like it adds dimensions. It adds dimensions to every skill. I wasn't using this skill before. I was choosing my other skill, and then I get a little thing that makes now this skill is way more fun because it's got this other layer to it. And then every fight that I'm in, even though it's just clicking buttons, it's not true. Although there is aiming, you have to put your cursor over the thing. I always have to meet each fight on its own merits. Like I can't just go. I don't go in a fight with my rotation.
Right.
I have to now every situation pins me back into think on the fly of how I'm gonna get out of it. And I love that. And I love that
when you first see the skills, you go, oh, well that seems very way too easy, and I only got 6 skills.
But then
you drill down and you're like, that is genius.
And the levels are interactive, and the great fun story moments happen inside the levels. Which is very unlike WoW, I guess. You know, and a lot of MMOs in general. I know this is not an MMO, but it just it's a beautiful game.
It's interesting to me that you reference Bastion graphically. I referenced Bastion just recently on Weekend Confirmed in the sense of much like that game, which is the young upstart compared to the old master of the Diablo franchise. What they've done with the third Diablo that sets it apart that I didn't understand until now I'm 27 levels into it is really added creativity to your loadouts. It's not simply, they've done it in a way that skill trees have never done, because skill trees for me is always about efficiency and maximizing. What Bastion did so well, and what Diablo 3 does really well, is everything is viable in its own way. Every weapon in Bastion, every different weapon style in Bastion, and upgrade to that weapon is viable in its own way. Just as every one of your primary skills, your secondary skills, and your 4 numbered skills, they're all viable. They all have use, and they're all catered to a specific play style. And you can start mixing and matching and creating a palette that lets you be creative and go, oh, I want to play this, in my case, barbarian, in a way that is this kind of way, and this skill really complements that skill because of how I attack these groups of monsters. And
the other thing
throwing
is
a rune on,
That's the other thing, is it's not just you read it and you go, I know I'm not gonna like that. Or, I know I'm gonna love that. A lot of times you read it and you go, I don't know how this is gonna work.
Right.
I'm just gonna throw it in. Let's just try it. There's no more pay the consequent penalty. The penalty is you can't use the skill for 30 seconds or 10 seconds or whatever. So you're constantly trying things, and I've also found that I will try a skill and go, that's not for me. And then somehow I always seem to kind of loop back around. I'm like,
when you get a new rune, you're like, oh crap, I didn't realize how this could be tweaked. And now it really informs a whole new way of attacking, a new way of playing the character. And if you add to that, dyeing your clothes and adding your little companions when you're playing single player and leveling those people up and changing their skills, all of a sudden, down the line far enough, you are playing a game that is vastly different from the other people. Not just because you chose one of 5 different classes to play, but because inside that class, there are so many viable ways to construct your loadout that you really feel ownership over how you play. And they do such a wonderful job with that feedback loop. You're getting great feedback. You feel powerful. You're taking on hordes and hordes. They're letting you know, oh, you just killed more people with 1 strike than you have ever done before.
Yeah, I love
you
the
just
achievements.
you just strung together.
And you get XP for those achievements. So it's not just, oh, that's interesting. That's a funny little piece of information. You're actually getting experience for that. And there are little cinematic events that happen that are far, far superior to any other game of the genre, especially like when you walk into the ghosts and that woman gets her head chopped off. Did you see that?
Yeah.
It's like that doesn't happen in, you know what I mean? Like people try to get those little events in, you know what I mean?
Speaking of that,
Did you find the little house with the guy whose wife is the skeleton in the rocking stick chair?
No.
And he's like, oh, don't mind my wife, she's just skin and bones, and she's like,
all the variety of areas, the colors in this game are beautiful.
they look like a painting.
And
It looks like a painting.
And the thing about it, all these things, it's a lot like a Ridley Scott. The joy for me in watching a Ridley Scott movie is not the twists and turns and the big action sequence. All of my greatest pleasures of watching a Ridley Scott movie are, and I've often said this when we review those movies, is the details. Those the little detail that in this sequence or in that shot or in the art design that aren't in other movies of the genre. And this game, and you always say this about Blizzard, is they take the time to iron this stuff out. I've never experienced that in a game where it's the details are pleasurable. The details of how those things pop out. Yeah. That's what's pleasurable
everything
about it.
dies in a really interesting, unique way.
Right, the
Something
depths of
bursts open. Or
those details are what make the game awesome. It's not just that because it could look less good and still have. Although the detail of instead of it just being flat like Torchlight or whatever, or like you see depth going down the library of all the thing, and
or that's in Act 2 when you get to the giant city and you see down the bottom, the rest of the
actual city down there.
It's so
and that's
cool.
just a detail that didn't have to be in this game, and it could have been pretty much the same experience, but that detail actually is the most pleasurable part of the whole experience, or all of those little details in every facet, the combat.
Did you guys get to the big sandworm in the desert where you kill it and that the hole that it left for killing it you can leap down into and explore?
No.
So
But I
awesome.
love-
There's tons of stuff like that.
I love the guys the worms, the tremors pop out, and they can if they consume you, it like takes you down underneath it and then spits you out somewhere else. Yeah.
So it's a wonderful, wonderful game, and it's amazing. It's simple. It's simple yet deep. I mean, I'm playing with my girlfriend who really wouldn't play WoW.
Interested. We didn't even talk about it because it's not out yet, but I am really interested to see what happens with the real money auction house stuff.
Yes. And Torchlight too, because as you said, I miss having a pet that can go and sell my crap.
Yeah.
There are things that are missing from
definitely.
Diablo. So I wonder what they're gonna do as far as introducing stuff. Multiplayer hopefully will come in a patch.
Well, there's PvP, stuff.
Yeah.
is
Oh,
coming.
that.
We'll be talking about Diablo again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, be sure to stick around. We're going to be answering one of your Twitter questions right after this. But first, we want to thank our sponsor, The Ben Heck Show. Join modding wizard Ben Heck and friends as they build and modify a host of amazing community-inspired creations. Be sure to watch new episodes of The Ben Heck Show right here every 2 weeks, revision3.com/TBHS. In the latest episode of The Ben Heck Show, Ben uses both Android and Arduino to make another lazy man intervention. I almost said intervention, but invention. Don't forget to go to element14.com/TBHS to find out how you can enter to win one of the latest builds.
I want to win that.
You would?
Am I disqualified?
No. Sweet! See you tomorrow!
Join us tomorrow when we check out some totally rad Kickstarter projects.
Today's Twitter question sent to us using the hashtag TRSQ is from Zach Lucas at GoHome190. What's your favorite drink to order at a bar? Jeffrey?
Well, I've just recently gotten into whiskeys.
Yes, what's your fire whiskey or whatever you
Well,
keep twittering about?
Yeah, Fireball whiskey.
That's what it's called.
Boy, oh boy, that's fun. But I don't even think that's technically a real whiskey.
Yeah.
But boy, my girlfriend sort of invented, quote unquote, a drink with Fireball whiskey and 7-Up that we like to call Fired Up. Fireball whiskey and 7-Up. Fired Up.
Nice.
It is delicious, tastes like candy. It will blow your mind if you haven't tried it. I hope you're over 21.
Nice, very good. Daniel?
Mine is water because I don't drink.
Or
soju.
Soju,
Yeah,
the
if I get
Korean
Korean
water
barbecue,
you
the
drink.
one soju or sake at sushi because it's very mild. And
Yeah.
And it's not fruity.
I've gotten into, it's funny because you don't like
It's a
fruit
rice
and
one,
you don't like
yeah.
effervescence.
Right.
So there's a lot of drinks that just go out the window because
Yep.
of that. I have gotten into, I started drinking old fashions again, which is whiskey, a little bit of sugar, bitters, and some seltzer water. But at this place called Playa, which you have to go to, I know we talked about it, down where I live, they make this thing called a Fancy Free, which is like a take on an old fashioned, but it uses a liqueur made from, it tastes like maraschino cherries. But it's a maraschino cherry liqueur.
And he has to try that?
No, you probably hate all of
No,
this
I have to
stuff.
go eat that restaurant.
No, at the restaurant there's
yeah.
great food, but so I've been getting Fancy Frees at Playa, which have been my drink du jour. So thank you so much for sending in that Twitter question, Zach Lucas.